Highness, I have one more favor to ask.
Is this about Gustav again? I have plenty more stories about him, but perhaps it is time for you to speak with him yourself.
Oh, it's not about Father this time. This time I wanted to ask about you.
About me?
I mean, I heard all about Father last time, but I didn't ask about you.
Ah, well, I'm afraid there is not much of interest for me to tell you.
Oh, it doesn't have to be funny or interesting. That's not why I'm asking. It's just that I thought I already knew you, but I'm not sure I really do. That day when we were reunited at the monastery, I didn't know what to say to you. So I wanted to prepare some of your favorite food. I thought maybe if you ate something that you liked, you'd cheer up a little. But when I got to the kitchen, I realized I didn't even know what you like to eat.
I see. Well, it's a little hard to say what my favorite is. I just don't really have any strong feelings about food. That said, you're pretty keen on sweet things, right, Annette?
Yes, that's right. I'm at my happiest when I'm digging into a sweet treat. Oh, did you know there's a famous sweet shop in the capital?
Yes. It often had long lines outside, didn't it? The castle guards often spoke of it.
The sweets were so good. They cost a fortune, but I loved them. When Father was still around, we all lived as a family in the capital. Since then, I've had them only a few times. How I'd love to taste them again.
Say, Annette, when this war is over, where will you go? I heard that you were close to Baron Dominic back in the academy days.
That's right. But that's not where I think I'd like to go when all of this is over. I reconnected with Father, so I'd like to live with my family again, in the capital. Also, if I'm in the capital, I'll be able to see you from time to time, right?
Ah, that settles it then. We'll have to get your father working twice as hard.
Father's at a ripe old age now. I'd appreciate it if you didn't work him too hard.
Oh, of course. I will keep that in mind. Finally, you score a point against me on the ground. You have improved, Ingrid.
That was nothing more than a fluke. My technique was horribly sloppy that last round.
It does not matter what sort of technique it was. You won. If this had been a real battle, I would be dead. You wielded your lance well, without any hesitation. Has your approach changed?
You may recall when I said I'm now able to move on, because of you.
I remember. What did you mean by it?
That I finally understand a truth about Glenn. It sounds as though he died with a heavy heart. A heart that carried regret. I had suspected as much. But instead of acknowledging it, I twisted my memory of him to fit an ideal I've been upholding.
I see.
Your Highness, I will not sacrifice my life for anyone. But perhaps instead, I can live my life for someone. I will pledge my life to you.
And how exactly am I meant to interpret that?
However you please, Your Highness.
Oh? Well then. Ingrid, when this is all over, I want you to support and defend me. As my knight. I have been thinking of telling you this for a long time. We get along well, you and I.
As your knight? Yes, yes, of course. Of course I will. I intended to do so for the sake of the kingdom. Together, Your Highness. You and I. Our first order of business. Putting this tragic war to an end.
Yes. And while we're at it, do not die on me, Ingrid. Promise me that.
Yes, Your Highness. I swear it on my lance.
Up this late practicing with your lance, are you?
And what about you? Have you got something on your mind again? You really should go to bed. It is chilly out, and you could catch cold. What's the matter? Have you been having nightmares?
Well, in a certain sense, yes. Can you spare a moment?
Of course.
Thank you. I want to apologize to you. When last we spoke, I mishandled the situation.
Your words that night touched me deeply. It felt as though I had been punched in the gut. But more importantly, I think I owe you an apology. I lied to you.
You did?
Do you recall when I ate that meal you cooked and I told you it was delicious? The truth is that no matter what I eat, I can scarcely taste it. I have not had my sense of taste for 9 years now.
My cooking certainly is not something people often compliment me on.
I am sorry. When I said the food was good, I was just saying what I thought you would want to hear.
An apology is not necessary. You were only trying to be kind, after all.
In the end, I am not sure it was kind.
Just the same, it was nice to hear. Oh, hey! I have an idea! What if you sampled some really pungent food? Or something extremely spicy? Maybe that would...
Flayn.
Yes?
I like your cooking. I cannot taste it properly, but in my book, it is truly delicious.
No need for the flattery. Anyhow, maybe someday you will get your taste back. I hope then you will be able to compliment me sincerely about my cooking.
Gustav, it has been 8 years since I last called you by that name.
Your Highness, I must deeply apologize for leaving the kingdom without permission.
There is no need to explain, old friend. I can guess at your reasons. The tragedy of Duscur. You felt responsible for that incident and sought respite in the goddess, abandoning your name, rank, and homeland in repentance. Am I right?
I have no excuses to offer. It was all I could think to do.
I always knew you for a pious man, and I figured that if you were to leave, this is where you would end up. You have changed much. Your face does not have the same resolve it once did.
If I may, Your Highness, you have changed as well.
I can't disagree.
It was my duty to protect His Majesty, your father. Naturally, that also included Lady Patricia and yourself as well.
My father and mother are gone. No amount of regret will bring them back.
My dreams are haunted by the thought that, had I arrived at Duscur more swiftly...
You saved my life at Duscur. I have only gratitude for you, no blame to speak of. I wish for you to remain in the kingdom, Gustav, even after this conflict is over. I need your strength to help rebuild the ravaged land that Faerghus has become.
Please, I beg your forgiveness, but there is no place left for me in that land.
I see. Though much has changed, your stubbornness remains. I have no desire to trouble you. If you do not wish to return, that is your choice to make. But I do advise you to at least visit the place of your birth, if only for your family's sake.
Yes, Your Highness. Thank you. I appreciate your concern.
We should have been more careful. Those monsters really got the better of us.
I must apologize, Alois. If only I had paid closer attention.
No, it's all right. We've got more important things to do than dwell on our mistakes.
It hurts. I don't want to die yet.
Ugh. How did it come to this?
Indeed. With morale this low, we may yet have trouble making it back to the monastery.
We weren't expecting that attack, after all. It gave us a nasty shock. So we can't just leave. The Knights could use some inspiration. Listen up, everyone. We're going to carve ourselves a safe path back home to Garrigmach Monastery. But first, I want you all to hear me out.
Alois, what exactly are you...
A long time ago, Captain Gerald and I defended a small village from a band of thieves. After we defeated those hoodlums, the captain observed how ugly they were. Such hideousness ought to be illegal, he said. If it were up to me, I would have banned it. Then he walked up to the leader of the village and handed over a big bag of coins. A gift from the thieves, he said. They were dying to give it to you.
Sir, I'm not sure this is the time for...
Oh, Alois, how do you come up with those jokes? That last one was positively hilarious.
Oh, I don't know. I'm just a natural.
This is... I don't even know what to think right now.
I guess we should just join in.
Another day, another training session, I see. You're quite dedicated. And practicing with the sword today. You weren't any good with it when you were little, as I recall.
And who told you that?
Lord Rodrigue mentioned it to me. He said you used to swing your sword so hard that you'd break it.
That was ages ago. I've had plenty of time to improve since then. Now I count swordplay as one of my specialties. Care to see for yourself?
Well, I can't just take your word for it, can I? Let's see what you've got. Well, I'm impressed. You're better than I expected.
I could say the same of you. I suppose we students still have much to learn.
No need for false modesty. We fought as equals just now. You're strong, and your form is excellent. You're clearly an experienced fighter. But you're greedy. You can't be so impatient to win. It'll come at a grave cost.
Greedy? I see. I'll take that note to heart. You have my thanks for the instruction.
Ah, it returns. The formality, the stiffness. Anyway, after we're through here, I might head into town for some food. Care to join me?
I appreciate the invitation, but I have certain duties I must attend to this evening.
Of course you do. Never mind about my plans then.
I thought you'd say that. You have the same sense of responsibility as I do.
You think so? I didn't want to push you to join me. We can just do it another day. I'll confess, I'm taking a shine to you. I'd like to talk to you more.
I would like that as well. Ever since I saw you wielding a sword all those years ago, I've been following in your footsteps. To be able to stand with you and cross swords is quite a...
Hey, slow down. Where did all this come from? You're embarrassing me. That's enough chatter for now anyway. Let's get back to sparring, this time with lances. I won't hold back. Show me what you can do.
Right. Prepare yourself.
Impressive that you made it back, Dedue. It was you who saved His Highness from prison. We, all of us, thought you were dead.
My wounds were severe, but I managed. So long as I draw breath, I fight for His Highness.
Is that so?
But in my absence, you have protected him. Thank you, Gilbert, for returning to us.
Stop. I left once. I have wondered if I will be forced to leave once more after this battle is done.
Would you accept that? I imagine not.
Of course not.
You are still Gustav at heart, even now. I am not fit to replace you. Not yet. I still have a great deal more to learn. For now, all I can do is continue to be a shield for His Highness.
It is unlike you to be so talkative.
I could not be silent.
So long as you understand, I will leave the kingdom someday. It may not be until the day I die, but the time will come. This war. I'm a much older man than I was when it began. Sooner or later, someone must take my place. Do not try to carry the weight alone, Dedue. There are many talented and well-trained officers. Work together with them to assure our king's future. Do that, and when the time comes, I will rest well.
Thank you for the advice. However,
Yes?
it is too soon to treat you like an old man. You still have at least 10 years of service in you. Fargus, no. His Highness needs you. As do I. Save the old man talk for when you are truly senile.
A fair point. There's no reason to let old age make one timid.
Even as I work to surpass you, I still rely on you.
Is that so? Well then, we have more fighting ahead of us to do. We should get to it, for the future of Fargus.
Dutiful as ever, Dedue.
What are you suggesting?
You're always busy delivering messages.
You mean His Highness's orders.
Does he need you to run such trivial errands?
He should not trouble himself over them. I am honored to attend His Highness, and to represent him in all matters. Ever since he saved my life, serving him has given me reason to live.
Reason to live. Huh.
Your relationship to the Archbishop seems similar.
Not quite. I joined the Knights to repay a debt I owed Rhea. The debt's been repaid, so she's nothing more than a former employer.
Then you are not motivated by loyalty.
Not especially. I wouldn't call Rhea my reason to live.
And if a higher-paying employer comes along?
I'd consider it. That's what mercenaries do.
Then yes, we are completely different.
Everyone's different. I'm not trying to criticize your loyalty. I've seen a lot of people like you all over the world. They don't tend to last very long, though. Try not to end up like them.
Thank you for the warning.
Edelgard, Claude, His Highness, all the house leaders from way back when, assembled again at Gronder. I wonder what their thoughts were as they headed out to the battlefield.
You have my gratitude. I am very grateful to you. I could never have achieved this on my own. This is all thanks to you and Lord Rodrigue. This month, we will invade Ferdiad by way of the Fraldarius domain. Leave the negotiations with House Fraldarius to me. You make ready for the actual battle. It's a tricky business, but we are taking our first steps forward. I have a request. I have a request. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
The Emperor was wounded at Gronder Field. What do you think is going on in the Empire now? The Leicester Alliance has really suffered a blow as well. Who knows what will become of them? From now on, we have to pay close attention to how the rest of Fodlan is doing. I appreciate this. I appreciate this.
A class reunion on the battlefield? That's bleak. That must have been so hard on everyone. You gotta keep looking after them all. I mean, they still look to you for guidance, you know? Hey, how about a favor? Welcome! Is that the one? Thanks a bunch. Come back soon.
Here's my thought.
The fish in this pond get fed every day, so they're swimming all lazy and serene. But the only reason they're kept here is so that they can one day be used for food. But the fish don't know that, so they just swim around happily. It's a bit of a miserable thought. But aren't soldiers much the same?
Unbelievable.
He'll need to excel as a leader if he's to make up for my old man's death. Though if my father could see Dimitri now, he'd be glad to have made the sacrifice. Don't you dare tell anyone I said that. Don't bother haunting me. Burn until we meet again. Burn until we meet again. Burn until we meet again.
down until we meet again.
This is my most favorite dish of all. I love it almost as much as Crestology itself.
I've got food to eat and a place to sleep. I'm pretty darn happy with my life right now.
I have some experience with cooking. I'm sure I can aid you in the kitchen. Let me consider. How the meal tastes affects the morale of the troops. An army marches on its stomach. Gratitude. This month, we will invade Ferdia. Leave is a tricky. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Professor, if we're headed to the kingdom capital, that means we're further away from rescuing Lady Rhea. But it can't be helped, can it? Perhaps some people will question this decision, but I trust your judgment. Lady Rhea would want us to help in Ferdiad. She'd scold us if we rescued her and left innocent people suffering. I'll take it. I love it. I'll take it. Thanks.
It seems we are headed for the kingdom capital this month. The Church of Seiros stands ready to lend its aid to you and Dimitri. It may be a roundabout route, but I believe this path will still eventually take us to Rhea. Besides, saving the people of Fargus is just what she would want us to do. I accept. I accept. I accept.
Fighting with 3 different groups in the mix was as confusing as it was difficult to survive. Enemies and allies dying, one on top of the other. What an absolute mess, huh? If only I had my infirmary out in Gronder. Maybe I could have saved a few more lives.
There's a school of sorcery in Ferdiad, which is staffed by the top minds of magical research. The study of crests and sorcery should not be separate. I've often thought I should pay them a visit someday. I never imagined I might end up invading the place with an army, though. Not how I imagined it at all. Ah, yes, I love it. Ah, yes, I love it.
Standing face to face with those whom I went to school with. On the field of battle. How inhuman war is. How horrifying. My heart feels shattered. It is my hope that this war marks the end of such foolish behavior. Wow! I am delighted! I shall take it. I shall take it.
Need something? This one? You're all set. See you again soon.
Anyway, I was born and raised in Fargus, but I've never actually been to Ferdiad. Do you think it'll still be cold at this time of year? I can't even imagine. You're right. It's an important battle, so let's make sure we're ready for anything.
Sleep evades me, so I thought I'd get in some extra training. I was just about to finish. Perhaps it is the gloomy weather, but I am feeling the sting of wounds that should have healed long ago. The injury I got when that girl stabbed me after the battle at Gronder. Her eyes were filled with revenge, just as mine once were. I don't know, but I have a guess. I suppose I haven't told you about that yet. I was attacked inside the monastery the other day. It caused quite the uproar. The ones who attacked me were some of the youths we taught swordsmanship to once upon a time. Of course, I could capture the lot of them with my eyes closed. It seems they were raised by a group of thieves we put down 5 years ago. I heard Lady Rhea took custody of them, claiming that the children were innocent. I have taken so many lives, and with each one, I face hatred. During the last 5 years especially. My life was not so different from that of a wild beast. And that young girl's brother. At some point, I must have... That is why I thought it only natural that someone would retaliate someday. Because I hated. Because I stole and... because I killed. But with those children, it's different. We drew our blades with the best of intentions, only to hurt them in the end. I suppose this is yet another thing we will just have to live with. Yes. As one who chose to fight, it is my responsibility to confront this anguish and the true nature of war, until the day my life comes to an end. Thank you. You know, Professor, there's something that I only recently realized. I never knew it could be so comforting to have someone standing by my side.
Guess what I noticed? I can see further than most other people can see. But I can't figure the point of seeing further than an arrow can fly, since I can't shoot what I see. Yeah, I suppose it could be real useful for finding Lady Rhea, too. Thanks, Professor. I think I get it now. I'm gonna put my eyes to real good use. Thanks, Professor. Thanks, Professor.
Professor! No.
Definitely.
After that great battle earlier, the balance of power in Fodlan has shifted greatly. To get revenge for all our fallen friends, we'll have to stake our lives on the fight that lies before us.
So we're turning around and heading for the kingdom capital? Ridiculous. Tell him to cease this nonsense. Isn't there a saying in Fodlan? Something about those with power knowing how to use it? If he's not careful, the goddess will send her saints to smite him. Not that I believe that. Thanks. I appreciate it. Thanks.
Say, up until a few decades ago, Ferdiad was a disorderly city. Even the water supply was poorly constructed. As such, it was a hotbed of sickness and disease. The late king hired a researcher named Cornelia, who advised that he give top priority to improving the city's infrastructure. In the space of just a few years, the city was transformed into a place of beauty and order. At the same time, the diseases that had plagued our land loosened their grip, one after another. It was miraculous.
I agree that we should head for Ferdiad, but let's not forget our search for Lady Rhea. The soldiers from the church are going to set up a base at the Great Bridge of Myrden. They'll be able to keep up the search while we head for the kingdom capital. The kingdom capital. It's been way too long since I was there last. Oh, Professor, I didn't mean... it's not that I'm looking forward to it or anything. Please don't tease me like that. It's just, when I think of us finally saving everyone in Ferdiad, it makes me a little happy. Okay, maybe a lot happy. The kingdom capital is under the tight control of Cornelia, who was ennobled by the Empire. Judging by what we heard from Lord Rodrigue, it sounds like she's a tyrant. But all of that ends soon. Let's get there quickly.